The Trump administration delivered a sudden shock. It announced a move to bar foreign enrollment. This directive specifically targeted Harvard University. International students faced an immediate crisis. Their visas were suddenly at risk of revocation. Their vital research projects faced suspension. Many worried about being blocked from re-entry. This news came just after final exams ended. Graduation ceremonies were merely a week away. It was a moment of peak vulnerability for students. A wave of pure panic swept through the international student community. This was the stark description of their reaction. Abdullah Shahid Sial, Harvard student body co-president, voiced this. He explained that students felt very clearly extremely afraid. They felt dehumanized and disrespected, he added. Many felt like poker chips in a larger political game. This sentiment of being used was deeply unsettling. The abruptness of the policy created profound anxiety. Their academic futures were thrown into disarray overnight. Abdullah Shahid Sial himself faced this uncertainty directly. He is from Lahore, Pakistan, and was overseas. His ability to return to the United States became doubtful. This personal situation highlighted a widespread fear. Many international students traveled during the summer break. They now feared being unable to return to campus. Their studies would be severely disrupted. Their personal lives were plunged into sudden chaos. The policy threatened to unravel years of hard work. The ban's impact was extensive at Harvard. Approximately 27% of Harvard's student body is international. This translates to 6,793 students, both undergraduate and graduate. These students come from nearly every country worldwide. The administration's decision struck at Harvard's global character. It undermined the diversity that enriches the institution. The scale of the potential disruption was immense. The policy sent ripples of fear across continents. The policy did not only affect current students. Prospective international students also saw dreams crumble. Jared, an 18-year-old from New Zealand, shared his story. He had recently received his acceptance to Harvard. He was actively preparing for his student visa application. He was also making plans for his move to Cambridge. The news of the ban was a heart-drop moment for him. His hard-earned opportunity was suddenly at risk. Many other bright young minds faced similar despair. Current students felt the ground beneath them shake. Carl Molden is a rising junior from Austria. He expressed deep concern about his future. He worried he might not be allowed to return to campus. He felt international students were being unfairly targeted. They were being used as a ball in this larger fight, he said. A fight he characterized as between democracy and authoritarianism. Their pursuit of education was caught in a political crossfire. This feeling of helplessness was pervasive among them. The personal consequences of the ban were far-reaching. Fangzhou Jiang, a Harvard Kennedy School student from China, highlighted this. The uncertainty extended to students' families. Spouses and children living in the U.S. faced an unstable future. Students' work authorization statuses became unclear. Their housing arrangements were suddenly thrown into question. The logistical strain was enormous for everyone involved. Beyond logistics, the emotional toll was incredibly heavy. The constant worry eroded their sense of security. For some students, the stakes were exceptionally high. Maria Kuznetsova, a Russian graduate student, faced a dire situation. Her Harvard-sponsored visa for post-graduation work was threatened. Returning to Russia was not an option for her. Her previous human rights work made it too dangerous. She noted many students were from countries in turmoil. Students from Ukraine, Venezuela, and Afghanistan were present. Even students from Palestine and North Korea were affected. These individuals had no safe home to return to. Harvard University chose to fight back against the directive. The institution moved quickly to take legal action. It filed a lawsuit in federal court to challenge the ban. Harvard's legal team argued its case with conviction. The university asserted that the ban was an act of retaliation. They described it as clear retaliation by the administration. This was for Harvard's refusal of certain policy demands. The government had been pushing for these ideological changes. Harvard stood firm on its academic independence. The legal challenge brought a swift, temporary reprieve. A federal judge issued an order on Friday, May 23, 2025. This order temporarily halted the Trump administration's ban. This news provided a brief moment of hope and relief. However, everyone understood this was not the end. The underlying conflict remained unresolved. The legal battle was only just beginning. The future for Harvard's international students still hung in the balance. The temporary injunction offered breathing room, not a solution. This confrontation was not an isolated incident. It was the culmination of months of growing tension. Trump administration officials had made repeated demands on Harvard. They sought changes to campus programming and policies. Hiring practices and admissions processes were also targeted. The White House justified these demands by citing concerns. These included allegations of anti-Semitism on campus. They also referred to what they termed racist practices. Harvard found itself in an escalating ideological battle. Harvard acknowledged some of the concerns raised. The university admitted to instances of anti-Semitism on its campus. These incidents were particularly noted during the previous academic year. Harvard stated it had begun to take concrete remedial action. However, some observers felt the issue was being politicized. An Israeli postdoctoral student shared this perspective anonymously. She felt Jewish students were being used as pawns in a larger struggle between the administration and academia. She doubted the administration's genuine concern for their safety. The implications of this visa ban extend far beyond Harvard Yard. The policy casts a shadow over international education in the United States. Ivan Bogantsev, a student from Russia, articulated this fear. He warned that a brain drain from the U.S. is absolutely guaranteed. Talented students and researchers might choose other countries. The U.S. risks losing its position as a global hub for innovation. This could have long-term negative consequences for American competitiveness. The policy signals a less welcoming environment for global talent. In response to the uncertainty, students began to consider alternatives. Leo Gurdon, a student from Sweden set to graduate, observed this. He noted that some of his friends at Harvard were making plans. They started to explore transferring to other universities. Institutions abroad, particularly in Europe, became appealing options. The United Kingdom was a frequently mentioned destination. Abdullah Shahid Sial was working to support these students. He aimed to ensure financial aid could transfer with them. The unique global fabric of Harvard was under threat. Harvard's esteemed global standing is now facing a challenge. Its capacity for cutting-edge research could be significantly diminished. Leo Gurdon emphasized this critical point eloquently. Without these international students, he stated directly, and its international researchers, he continued thoughtfully, the Harvard campus will not be the same. The intellectual vibrancy and diversity they bring are irreplaceable. This loss would be felt deeply across all academic disciplines. It could take years for the university to recover. The long-term effects of such policies are deeply concerning. They have the potential to reshape international relations. America's soft power and global influence could erode. The visa ban sends a chilling message to the world. It calls into question America's commitment to openness. It raises doubts about academic freedom within its borders. The global academic community is watching these events closely. The world is assessing America's future role in global education. This policy could permanently alter global talent flows and collaborations.